everyone here tonight. Not very often you get a crowd this size, so this is a good thing. Well, first item on our agenda, I'm going to refer to Ms. Nussbaum, and she will have a presentation for us.
Good evening. Tonight I have the honor of recognizing Rebecca Unruh as the 2018-19 Outstanding Teacher at the elementary level by the Topeka chapter of the Kansas Society of Professional Engineers. The Outstanding Teacher Award is given to a teacher who has a strong math, science, or technical area of expertise, is imaginative in his or her teaching approach, and has an excellent rapport with his or her students. Mrs. Unruh is a Project Lead the Way teacher at Northern Hills Elementary School. By working with Rebecca in her role as a Project Lead the Way teacher, I've had the opportunity to see firsthand her engagement with students and her dedication to STEM integration. Her principal, Martha Daughter says that Rebecca has high expectations for all of her students. She does an excellent job of extending their learning by providing opportunities for students to be creative and think at a higher level. Rebecca, our district is lucky to have you as a Project Lead the Way teacher. Congratulations on this achievement.
Congratulations, Rebecca, and we have a certificate for you. And I'll tell you, she's pretty quick on her feet, too. I was honored to be a part of the recognition that they had, and so the governor was there as the speaker, and the governor wanted to hear from each of the recipients, and so Rebecca represented us very well, as we would anticipate. Congratulations. I've always been impressed with the quality of teachers and staff that we have, and they're always willing to go to the extra mile, or go the extra mile and way beyond doing just what is enough to get the job done. So it's always very impressive. Okay, next item we have on our agenda is another presentation, and I would like to ask Mr. LeDuc and Ms. Rudy to come forward.
Thanks for having us here tonight. We're really excited to honor some of our art students at the high school for this year's Scholastic Art Show. This is our nation's longest running visual art show that's been around for almost 100 years. And the last couple of years we've had students from Seaman High School who have entered work into the show. This year's show had over 2,400 entries, and at the high school we had 24 entries receive recognition from 9 of our students. So out of those 9 students, 4 of them received Gold Key wins, which is, I always say, the equivalent of like a state championship in an individualized sport. So super proud of those students, and I think there's a slideshow that maybe accompanies it. Meredith Lewis, who's here, we'd like her to stand up and come up and Alright, so I guess we'll start off with Mallory Lyfred. She's a senior at the high school who created a piece in her ceramics class with Mrs. Rainberg as a Gold Key recipient. And then Meredith Lewis actually had 4 Gold Key recipients. I think she had more Gold Keys than any student in our region. In the Topeka area, so extremely proud of her for some of her illustrations. It's pretty unheard of for a student to receive 4 Gold Keys. That's where your friend Luke is here. Shinna Anita Tega, she's just a sophomore at our school, received this for one of her reductive block prints, Gold Key. And then finally Benjamin Pisaki, this was done in one of his ceramics classes, and kind of a steampunk inspired piece. So, super proud of the dedication of our students and the work that they invest in their work. We really appreciate all the people who came out to cheer on the art students.
Certificate for you. Is Meredith the only student present?
I believe so. I think the other three couldn't find a parking spot.
Oh, no. Congratulations. All right. Congratulations. Now, I understand that some of Meredith's work is displayed in the Noto Art District, is that right? Some of the big banners that are hanging? Excellent, very good. So everybody will have to check that out as well. Okay. President's remarks. I would just like to say over the last several months, I've been just very impressed with some of the media attention that has been kind of shedding a spotlight on the activities going on with our students, and just some really cool and neat things going on, and it's nice for our kids to get that recognition. So that's just pretty exciting. Okay, Superintendent, kick it over to you.
I'm going to talk snow days. We have a captive audience, so maybe everybody's interested in where we are with snow days. The Kansas law requires us to be, for kindergartners, 465 hours, and for 1st through 11th grade students, 1,116 hours a year, and then our 12th grade students, our seniors, need to be in school for 1,086 hours. Those are minimums. So I have good news and bad news. What would you like to hear first? Okay. The bad news. Okay, the bad news is we get to come back over the Easter holiday on the Friday before Easter and the Monday after Easter to make up a couple of days for the 4 days that we were out for snow. So that's the bad news. The good news is that we don't have to come back after our scheduled end of school. So we don't have to make up any days at the end yet. Some districts already have to do that. So we are on pace to still be within the realm of our school calendar, at least from the end point. So that's, and then there's a chart up on the wall that kind of articulates month by month the hours that we've been in school at each level. So I'll take questions from the board.
We're done with snow?
As a superintendent, I think I really hope so. That's it for me.
Okay, thank you. Very good. Yeah, we are too. I'm done with snow. Okay, next item are public communications, and this is a time where members of the audience can come speak about items that are not on the agenda. And we ask that you not intercede during board discussion of agenda items. If you have any communications that may address students or personnel, we ask that you make an appointment with the superintendent to do that as well. And we have a large number, I know, of folks that are soccer parents or soccer students. And so anyway, this is open now, time for anyone that wishes to make public communications to approach the mic. We'd ask that you would give your name and your address.
I'll give you one of these. Whoops, sorry.
Hi, my name is Blaine Bertrand. My son Nathan goes to school at Seaman, played soccer there for 3 years and he'll be a senior next year. And one reason I'm here is I'm with Topeka Landscape. We've done work on the soccer field, and I have given Seaman a rough budget, and it's, I think, the fourth to the last page in the booklet. That just kind of goes over a fairly good budget for what it would cost to properly maintain the soccer field in a pretty professional manner. That would keep the field as strong as it could be, keeping it fertilized, keeping it seeded, watering it properly, to try to avoid some of the problems that have been there in the past. That just kind of gives an economic impact to what it would cost per year to provide water and all the different operations, mowing, aeration, fertilization. That's not counting any painting of the field or anything like that, but just so the board knows that those are some of the costs that it would take to maintain a field in a professional manner that would keep the field so it wouldn't get in some of the conditions that it has in the past. Some of the pictures are going around now that show some of the problems that have been on the field, and the proposal that I've given, or the budget, is a path to allow that not to happen.
Give your address.
It's 1935 Northwest Pembroke Lane.
Thank you, and thank you for your work on the field. No, definitely.
My name is Gina Menser, and I live at 4202 Northwest Walnut Road, Topeka, Kansas, 66618. I was asked by the board, for the people that are here in support of the soccer program, if you would all stand up. Or get your little sign that I made initially. Thank you, guys. I am the second generation of Seaman High School. My dad graduated in 1965, my mom 66, my brother 85, me 87, and my son will be 2020. I first would like to thank the Seaman School Board for this opportunity to speak tonight. I would also like to thank all the soccer families since 1992 that have helped us make the soccer program what it is today. I had no idea all the hard work these families have put in, and I want to thank them. The soccer family are asking the Seaman Board to please consider purchasing turf at the high school field by the end of this school year. We think it is time for the Seaman soccer players to have the same playing conditions and opportunities as their opponents. Around 97% of our opponents have turf, excluding Mill Valley, Lansing, Blue Valley, Southwest, which they play on grass. Seaman is the only public school district in Topeka that doesn't have a turf soccer field. Getting turf at Seaman would benefit two sports and two genders. This would allow both programs the ability to be more competitive. Placing turf on a soccer field would allow the training in poor weather conditions. Currently, if the soccer field becomes wet, the players are unable to train due to the possibility of causing major damage to the natural grass. Our students, athletes, lose study time, personal time as their day becomes more fragmented because practice time changes or the lack of indoor training space is available. And tonight is a prime example. I know the girls coaches and the girls team was going to come, but they had to wait till track and everything was over so they could practice at the football stadium. So they didn't have practice until 5. So the pros of the turf soccer field in your packet, there's probably 4 updated information, I think that was just done at the beginning of this year, of facts of why having turf fields, conserving several billion gallons of water annually, allow longer seasonal usage, becomes faster draining capability, requires no mowing, no painting, no fertilization, no pesticides, and a significant amount reducing the workload. Evidence show that it's a faster choice. 36% fewer total injuries, 20% fewer severe injuries, 33% fewer concussions, 15% fewer injuries due to surface collisions, 35% time loss of injuries. The Seaman Soccer Field is the only field facility that is owned by the district that is not turf. Seaman Soccer is the only land owned by the district that is today because of all the donations and dedicated families and community businesses that have contributed over to the past 25 years. To our knowledge, no other sport owned by the district has had to maintain their facility like soccer. We are not saying that the district has not done anything for the soccer program, but if our athletes played volleyball or basketball, for example, they would not have to fundraise to pay for their basketball goals, basketball nets, new basketball courts, lighting, etc. It would be nice if we would be able to use our money we raise to the Seaman soccer program to better our athletes instead of putting all of our money back into maintaining a facility. The Seaman soccer parents have raised money, volunteered material, built basically everything except the bleachers, fence, and land. The school did help back in 2013, and I enclosed the email that was to tell you the parents had to deplete their parent fund in order for the district to help build the new concession stand and the press box. The families have built, donated, put up the lights. Families got the scoreboards donated. If you look, the bank is still on the advertisement on the back of the scoreboard today. Families helped build and pay for the old concession stand, the press box. They built the new concession stand, the restrooms, the small storage that's in between the restrooms. The families built the home and visitors dugout area for the players to sit in. They built the storage that's back there in between the home and visitors. They built the ticket booth. They built the concrete wall that has the Seaman Viking sign on it. They did the landscaping in and outside of the soccer field. Every year, weather permitting, both boys and girls soccer team have a work day before the start of the season. Parents bring weed eaters, rakes, brooms, trimmers, wheelbarrows, etc. Around 40 boys, 40 parents, and the same for the girls, 40 girls, 40 parents. The work day consists from a late 8 to 11 and until the work is done. We clean up the area inside and outside the field, clean the restrooms, clean the storage, whatever is needed, we do it so it's ready for the first game. I know first-hand experience this year, we bought between 50 and 60 bags of mulch, bought tons of decorative rock, and this was all covered by the Seaman parents. If you would now turn to, I'm not really sure what page it is in your packet. Let's see. I know in the packet you'll see a letter that was given to, I believe, Brad Dietz, I'm not sure about Mike Monahan, back in September 7th of 2018 from the coaches requesting turf. And then there is a picture of what the new turf soccer field could look like. That is given to me by Kansas Turf. So Kansas Turf, me and Blaine met with them, Jake Ferrant, not this past Friday, but the week before that, and asked him if he would give me the bid that he gave the Seaman people that reached out to them whenever they did. I'm not really sure when that was. And after talking to him, I said, it's $800,000 to do a soccer field. And he's like, well, that was 2 soccer fields. And I was like, well, we just want 1 soccer field. So he gave me a bid, and Blaine, and I enclosed the bid in your packet. The bid is starts out at $633,499. I asked him, is there any way we can cut that down? And he said yes. There are 3 different main areas. And so in the last 5 to 6 days, me and 3 or 4 other people have worked our little heinies off, and we've gotten donations. And I don't know how much time I have to talk, but I'll go until you guys tell me I can't talk anymore. I'll be really quick.
We know better than that.
I know, at least I wrote it down. So he says it starts out at $633,000. If you guys accept it, don't hire an architect. It's already stamped by an architect. It already has an engineer stamped. It drops the price $30,000. So we're at $603,000. And then he said, if the district will find places to dump 260, 260 truckloads of topsoil, the district, we would save $30,000. And I have a picture in there that shows you what Jeff West did, because Kansas Turf did Jeff West, and they have land right next to the building, and they dumped 260 loads of topsoil, and it saved the district $30,000. I went out and took 4 aerial shots of land that the Seaman district, well, 3 of them that the district owns. One is Optimus, so it gives you 3 different places you guys can dump 260 topsoil. I have a family in the community They have 2 grandkids. He owns a business, and if Seaman doesn't want it, to save you $30,000, he'll take it, dump it, come pick it up, all that stuff. Talked to Jake the other day to make sure it's all right. Said it shouldn't be a problem. So $30,000. So we're at $574 now. Then the other thing he said that we could do is if you could get someone to donate 3,000 tons of clean gravel. Jeff West got Ham's Construction to donate $100,000 right off the top because they're a Jeff West school and they're located in Jeff West. So Ryan Poulter got a hold of Bettis, which is owned by that owns Midstate, and Midstate did the football field at the middle school. So I thought, well, they probably got paid from the district a pretty penny to put that in. So why not tap into them and see if they would give a little bid back to us? So their bid, they donated off of $100,000. They came down $31,550. Then we got a hold of a concrete company, and until 4:50, I didn't have an answer. Got a hold of Ben Schreiner. I said, I go to the board meeting. I have to have the information. They discounted a $38,000 job. They will do it for $9,500. They discounted it $28,500. Then, when I met with Jake Ferret, he said, one way to raise money is you can sell advertisement spots. And they sell them for $25,000. He said, if you ask me, I'll buy one. So I called him, I said, hey, you buy one? He said, sure, I'll be the first one to buy one for $25,000. And then if you look in my packet, I don't know what page, I should have done page numbers. Somebody told me I should have done page numbers, but I didn't listen to them. Do very well with following directions, I know. I had this great idea. I have a friend of mine that is a graphic artist, and I'm like, you know, us families, we want our name on there, but we can't afford $25,000. I know I can't. And so, if you see, there's a sponsorship page, and one of them says 1,000, and one not everybody can donate 1,000. I realize that. So I already have 15 people tentatively in 5 days donating $1,000. I'm pretty sure by the time you guys do this in June or July of this year, I'll have more than 15 people donating $1,000. So we're already got almost two ad panels to go on the turf field. I'll be working on some of these people right here to give $500. If they want to give 1,000, then we'll maybe have two $25,000 ad panels on there. So we are down to, if you look on your bid sheet, I'm not going to go in all this stuff here, but you look, we are down to $463,449. And that, if you divide that, which Kansas Turf said that the school district can do a 5 to 6 year purchase lease agreement. You guys probably have your own company, but they have a company that you guys can do that with. If you divide that 463, divide that by 5, I didn't take 6 years, I did 5 years, that's $92,689.80. But if you remember, Blaine Bertrand was up here and he said, if you guys want a really good soccer field, it's going to cost you about $28,000. That's not including lining it. So I subtracted that $27,548 because you're going to spend it one way or the other. It might not be $27,000, but it's going to be something, unless we still have that lovely old soccer field that we have today. And so that brings you down to $65,141.80 that you guys have to pay over a 5 year. And we've only been doing this for 7 days. I'm pretty sure. I got a phone call today at about 3 o'clock from Ham's Construction, because I contacted them last week, but they said there's no way we can get you a bid. And they said, if the board, if this is a go and they're going to do it, contact me. His name is Mike Curry. He gave me his personal cell phone. They will do stuff for us, but he's not messing around. They're just not going to give you, he wants to know this is real. So we have people that want to help us get this going. So I'll finish with, let's find where my end of my speech is there. And then, and also possibility, and I gave you the information in your lovely packet, is Seaman doesn't normally do this. You normally don't rent out your facilities, but there is a soccer program club in Lawrence. My son plays in another Lawrence club, and I know they pay a pretty penny to rent soccer turf fields. This outfit out of Lawrence, they rent from Washburn Rural and Bettis, two turf fields, and then they do a grass field in Lawrence. They pay out 1 year $95,000 to rent a turf facility. So it could be an economic revenue if the school district wanted to do that. I'm pretty sure some of us parents play on the Sporting Call Valley team that pays. Raise your hand if your kid plays sporting. These people right here are paying Washburn Rural to go play on their field, and Shawnee Heights to go play on their field. So that's okay. As you can see, we are very willing to help the Seaman School Board facility look great. We are not asking the board just to fund this 100%. We are willing to work with you to make this happen. We just want the students and athletes in our soccer program, to have the same opportunities as our opponents. After 27 years having soccer at Seaman, it is time to have a turf field. I have had several parents or people comment to me that the Seaman coaches have not asked for turf in the past. I say my son is a junior. Next year he will have his 3rd soccer coach. I understand that it helps if your coaches are on board, but it cannot be solely based on what a coach wants. I mean, it would be 1 year a coach wants it, 1 year a coach doesn't. It has to be what the majority wants, what's best for Seaman. You can see how much we have done in just a short amount of days. We will continue to work at lowering the cost of the Seaman new turf soccer field that we hope is installed July of 2019. I received the March communicator, and enclosed in the front of the communicator, and I made a big old thing. It says that the total budget for the school district is $51.5 million annually. I'm asking you guys to fund a soccer field for 5 years, $65,141.80. This is an investment to our district. It will live long after all of us are gone. Most of us here tonight are 2nd and 3rd generations. Who are 2nd and 3rd generations at Seaman? 4th. One day, in this very room, there will be a 4th generation. I guess there's already a 4th generation. Attending Seaman that will have the opportunity to play on the turf field. I want to thank you guys again, your time and your support and all your hard work that you do for our district. Please vote turf.
Thank you, Gina. Thank you for your work. Is there anyone else that wants to address the board?
Yeah, we have one more person.
I'll be a lot shorter. Ryan Coulter, 6541 Northwest Telstar Drive. Alright, hi, my name is Ryan Coulter. I'm an alumni in 1995. My wife, April's 1993. I got a son, Aiden, he'll be 2022, Avery 2022, and Parks 2029. April's parents are Seaman graduates, our brothers are graduates, our cousins, nieces, nephews are all graduates of Seaman High School, or will be. So basically, we've got a lot of Seaman in us. Our daughter Avery now is a freshman at Seaman High School, and her goal is to play college soccer at the highest level she possibly can. So it's her mom and my goal to help her achieve that. We're going to do everything we can. Basically, we believe this is the same story for more than a handful of people in this same room. Then when you add boys into the mix, you could probably double that number. One of the hardest things for a high school sport to succeed in the community is to have a culture of that sport. Baseball, Seaman has a very good culture of that. Soccer has that too. We just want to see the Seaman School Board and the Seaman administration kind of get behind that and do the same thing. That's all we're kind of asking for. Having artificial turf will help these teams achieve their goals. Home field advantage is a term you hear a lot about in sports. Look at KU basketball. Undefeated at home, but struggles at away games. The girls' soccer team has its first home game tomorrow night, and they haven't practiced one time on their own field. I doubt KU basketball practices at a different gym every practice before their first home game. No, they practice at their own gym so that they can gain that home court advantage. Please help our soccer athletes have a field they are proud of, and they can get their home field advantage. Thank you.
Me
Thank you,
too.
Ryan.
Hi, I'm Tracy Podlina, 3020 Northeast Meriden Road, Topeka, Kansas 66617, and my children are fourth generation Kansas students. My grandparents, both sets, both my parents, my brother and I, and my three children. All three of my children play soccer, boys and girls, so I've actually been on both sides of it. We do clean up our fields. We're one of the only sports that have. I mean, I made sure that the girls started doing it, and they haven't been doing it as long as the boys, but it's very important. My daughter plays for Fort Hays State, and that's how she's going to school. This isn't just boys, this isn't just girls, this is both genders. Raise your hand if your kids are going to be playing soccer in college. Right here, this is a no-brainer for me. I mean, you have got to give them the edge to be able to do this. This is, you know, a way for them to get a higher education. And if they go anywhere, like you said, like they just said, club, they're all playing on turf. We really need to give our students an advantage to be able to hire themselves, go to school, get another way to do it. My daughter's going to be a senior next year playing soccer, and so she did it. So I want you guys to hear that. Thanks.
Thank you, Tracy. Okay, is there anyone else who cares to address the board tonight? Okay. Well, thank you all for coming. I know that many of you received a letter from Mr. Monahan and inviting folks to be a part of the discussion and being able to talk about 4-5 plan and plans for soccer. So again, thank you for coming tonight. You're welcome to stay for the entire board meeting. If you choose not to, that's fine as well. Okay, next item on the agenda is our adoption of the agenda tonight. Dr. Noble, do you have anything you want to add or change?
I don't have anything to add or change.
Okay, board members? Okay, directors? Okay, I'll entertain a motion for the adoption of our agenda tonight. Moved by Carl, seconded by Sherry. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Our agenda is adopted. Next item, disposition of business by consent. I'll entertain a motion for adoption of that.
Yes, and it's reflected in the
So I move to accept the agenda by consent, or the disposition of business by consent.
Okay, moved by Sherry. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Carl. Any discussion on that?
Quick question, we have, I don't know if this is an issue. We have an open gym item here, which I just need to know that that aligns with the open gym policy we've got. We're charging for open gym. I don't know if we've done that before.
What's the agenda item?
It's in the summer camp document
There's 3 of them there.
for
For
open
the
gym.
high school?
Yep. Monday night, open gym, high school.
Coaches have always charged in the summers more for a camp kind of thing, to my
Yeah, that's
understanding.
not my issue. This, I don't have an issue with this either. I'm just making sure that we're, policy aligns with what we're actually doing.
Where's it at, James?
It's
First
the
page, bottom
volleyball. Is that it, James?
Yeah, yeah.
Volleyball Monday nights, open gym?
page. Yeah, like the camps, we always do. But this looks like we're
Yeah.
saying, come to open gym, but we're charging them to come to open gym.
Is it really open?
And I don't care, I guess, like, I'm a yes, as long as we don't counter something we have in policy that says we can't do that. That's what I'm trying to make sure we don't.
Again, the history of it is we've charged for camps.
Okay.
I'm not aware that we've ever charged for an open gym. I'm not saying we never have, I'm just not.
Can we just call it camp? I mean, I guess.
Well,
I'm not sure why we're charging.
If I can elaborate on that,
Yeah.
I don't know this specifically, James, but it might be getting more in line with what we see with basketball coaches doing skill development camps throughout the summer. And then they have their specific basketball camps.
No issue with any of that.
I'm just wondering if that, I don't know, but I wonder if that's part
Because
of
we're already
this
doing camps.
idea.
What we do have, this is all the reason we did the bonds, to provide open gyms, free access to the community, to say, come in and use our buildings anytime that they're scheduled to do so. Then now we've got a fee on top of that. I don't, if we're good, then I guess we're good, but
I guess I kind of.
I'm not putting you on the hook either. We're just.
No, I agree with Doc. If there is a teaching component to this, if there's a camp component to this, then I can understand that. But I'm with you.
I don't have a problem with it. I mean,
I don't.
I don't know how how do you, what if somebody else wants it during that time? And
I mean, that's Coach Shank. That's the high school volleyball coach.
She's great. I
Who's
mean,
the sponsor of it.
I got no issue with this person or what they're trying to do. I just want to make sure we didn't approve something and we have a policy out there that says that's not what we're allowed to do.
James,
So that's all that.
James, I think it may be worded wrong. Because
Okay, well,
it appears to be an activity by the coach, because we have volleyball, the coach, the grades. So
If it's just wordsmithing, then let's do it. I'm fine with that.
To me, we shouldn't charge for an open gym, but.
I do.
Right.
Open gym sounds like open gym on a Sunday, or like we do
Yeah.
other times,
Yeah.
where people could just come in and shoot around.
And they call up and reserve the building.
Right,
It's
and
open.
do whatever, there's not
Right.
really supervision, it's sort of, you just
Yeah.
come and it's open gym.
right, but it's not something that
That's
the
not
coach is supervising.
Yeah, this is more structured, I
Right.
think, to be intentional. But honestly,
That's a good catch.
I have no follow-up question. It's more of a to don't than a to do there.
Yeah.
Just making sure
Yeah.
we didn't
yeah,
shoot ourselves in the foot with.
No, good
You
point.
get it.
If it's, to me, if it's purely an open gym, we shouldn't
we
charge
shouldn't
for
be
it.
charging
That's
enough.
kind of what I'm getting
Yeah.
at. So if
No,
we
I
just change the
agree.
name of that, which is kind of what I'm hint saying we should do, then let's do that.
Yeah, yeah.
Especially when it's free for one group and then we're charging
That's
another.
kind of
group.
what I
Right,
mean.
Yeah,
right,
that-
yeah, it's not.
unless we're doing something different with the two groups.
Then
That's-
doing that fine. The fees make total sense and all that's fine.
How about, I think what we'll do is we'll come back and before, when does this have to be approved? When does this need to go to publication?
The camp's
Tomorrow?
going to be approved tomorrow, or I need to be able to publish it tomorrow.
Well, it's, I guess with the limited information we have, then we've got two discrepancies. One, we're charging for one group and not the other that we don't have an answer for.
I still support the motion as it is, though, regardless. I think that's a wordsmithing thing we clean up after the fact.
All right, okay, we'll clean that
Yeah,
up.
that's it. I wouldn't derail that over there.
Right.
Okay, we'll clean that up.
That's very good. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Same sign. Okay. Motion carried, that's approved. Okay, next item, we have our discussion items. Teaching and learning report.
I'll be brief. I just have two things. The first thing that was in your board report is the upcoming PISA Kansas Education Systems Accreditation visit on April 4th. Our district level leadership team will be meeting with an outside visiting team that we selected, and it's part of the accreditation process. We're in year 3, so we would like to formally invite you to lunch that day. You'll be in between. If you can come to lunch that day, we'll have a student group and a parent focus group that will all be able to overlap and have lunch together. If you'd like to be here for that portion of that day, we are formally inviting you to that. I will be emailing out an agenda to you so you can kind of see the topics of discussion here within this week. Okay, we're finalizing that. Susan Danner is our chair, and she's been working with us for a while with our MTSS process. So I wanted to let you know that's a big deal coming up. And then the second thing is state assessment testing window the testing season has officially started. We will start testing in our buildings. It opened actually last week. We were on spring break. So I know we just finished up the CALPA testing. I know Amber's in the room. Way to go, Amber. We finished that. Now we're doing the summative assessments, which will be math, reading, and science. And the high school and Elmont start tomorrow.
and we'll be going through April 19th. We do have a state monitoring visit this year. They will be coming on March 25th, and they'll just be checking to make sure that we're following all the test security guidelines. That will happen on that Monday, and we'll be attending Elmont and West Indianola that morning. I think there's only one person coming for our visit, so it's not as intimidating as I had originally thought. So, a couple big highlights. Thank you.
Thank you.
I just wanted to briefly bring your attention to the bottom of page 3, where you see the Mid-America Association for Computers and Education Conference. I wanted to do this in order to highlight a couple of our teachers. This conference is an annual conference that we have high Seaman representation at every year. This year we sent 32 staff members from across the district to the conference. It was exceptional, as always, with a variety of learning topics. But what also made it exceptional was that we had 6 of our teachers being presenters at the conference and representing Seaman very well. So our teachers who were there were Ashley Hughes, who is a second grade teacher at Logan. She presented on Project-Based Learning 101. Lindsay Gress, who is also Logan's second grade teacher, presented Do You Freckle? Stacy Wall, who teaches math at the Seaman Freshman Center, did Blended Learning. It is not just the next buzzword in education. Andrea Marshbank, who teaches English Language Arts, is also here. She, at the Freshman Center, she did Blended Learning for the advanced teacher, still not just a buzzword. And then Allison Lippy, Biology in the Freshman Center, and Cassie Geist, who's a 10-12 Project Lead the Way teacher. They presented on Nearpod, getting immediate data and easily creating a blended learning environment. And some of these teachers even teamed up together to co-present, so they would have presented more than one of these sessions together. So they all did a wonderful job, and we should be very proud of the representation class.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm going to highlight a few items. On page 4, some of our students are continuing to exceed our expectations. In the AP Government, our students competed in We the People competition, first time ever, and they did qualify to continue. You have other items as well, including Mr. Jackson's robotics team. They've been performing really well. We're very proud of them. I also would like to point out that the snow days interfered with our ACT test. And so it's rescheduled for April 2nd. And we plan on conducting learning as usual for all grades except the juniors and a handful of seniors who are taking the ACT on that day. They will be at the Freshman Center taking their test, and they will be dismissed home after that grueling hours of performing on that test. So we expect they'll be leaving around 12:30. Otherwise, everybody will be learning as usual. Also would like to reference you to our conferences. We have our data on pages 2 and 3. Among the data, you will notice the new student-led conference format, and we had a very nice attendance rate. In the past, we've been hovering in the 20s percent attendance from our families, and in this case, we're up to 52. We will have a presentation on feedback from parents and staff on the next board meeting. So I have that information, and we're going to be creating a presentation for you. And finally, the last item for me is this group of professionals that you have here. These are our ELA colleagues, that's English Language Arts teachers. This group of teachers started working together in June to review their curriculum and create a curriculum map that aligns with the new standards. And they are here to present to you the work that they've done and to show you their curriculum map and discuss what you see there. If Board Docs is not going to work, I did print out a curriculum map example, and you'll have it also on your place for that. So is the presentation here, Jeff?
It's up there if you want to run it from there.
Okay.
Awesome. Should be. If not, I've got
Do you mind joining me, Lou? And if it pleases the board, I would like to have my colleagues introduce themselves really quick as we go through.
I'm Julie McLaughlin. I teach 8th grade at middle school.
I'm Rachel Roberts. I teach 7th grade at middle school.
I'm Andrea Marshbank. I teach 9th grade at the high school.
I'm Lisa Kemp, and I'm teaching 9th grade at the high school as well.
I'm Heather Fuller, and I'm teaching senior English.
Luke leads freshman English. And Tim Collinson, I teach senior English and sophomore English, and am the department chair. I have to tell you that 3 years ago when I came to this district, which I'd been a part of it over a decade ago, I was tickled to be here. But early on in my experience, I remember going to Amanda Torbett and saying, hey, I hear messages about this, I hear messages about that. What are we to do? And Torbs, and this is no indictment on anyone in any way, shape, or form, but Torbs basically told me, well, just kind of like go with the flow. And then in 2017, the state adopted the new standards, and with Danira coming on board, she has a vision for, has a vision for a professional learning community where we step forward and we put together a curriculum map that allows for professionals to follow along what it is that we are doing in the classroom, that basically allows for all of you to see, for all of you to point to and proudly say to anybody that is a stakeholder in the community, hey, come and look at what's going on in our high schools and our middle schools. So Danita's vision led us to where we are now with the 9th grade curriculum map. And I want to take a moment to thank you for the opportunity and to thank Danita for her leadership and vision, and for the administrators that are part of the high school for allowing us to be able to, number one, be professionals, number two, to design a curriculum, because we know the Seaman youth, and we know what it is that our students need. At the same time, we also know that we need to become better, and that's what the professional learning community does. So a couple more slides in, we have our mission statement that we came together and decided we need a mission statement to follow. And we have 3 prongs, and we think that the 3 prongs follow very nicely with what it is that we're basically with the Seaman mission statement. And then in the next thing that we want to be able to do is make sure that you are aware that these curriculum maps are being developed, and Candace is going to be publishing them on the website. And then finally, we have the opportunity, I think, to look at, So we have been somewhere, we have journeyed together, and we are a new entity that is breathing. And this is the vision for what our professional learning community looks like. Thank you for the opportunity to present to you. We're excited about the future.
Thank you. Got it? Yeah.
Sorry for the delay. No problem.
Teaching and learning team, while they're setting the technology up, and Board of Education, I might just go ahead and publicly state something that you'll be receiving in an email later. On April the 4th, relative to the KISA visit that Rebecca Kramer spoke about, this is our outside visitation team that comes in and looks at our programs. They'll have a luncheon, sort of an informal luncheon with the KISA program. All the board members will be invited to that luncheon to sit down and dialogue with them if you're available. So April the 4th, sometime around the noon hour, is that right?
11:30.
11:30. April the 4th at 11:30. If you're available, you'll be receiving an email to check your availability for that day. Just come and have lunch and dialogue with the visitation team from outside, as well as our own folks inside the districts. Thank you.
Okay, and then just a brief look here. This is the 9th grade map, of course, and divided by units. You can see we use essential questions, guiding questions, skills, and then kind of our primary text on each unit. And just to scroll through really quickly, and maps like that will look fairly uniform for each subject area and each grade level.
Luke, can you go back up to the possible anchor tax?
I believe so.
This is something that we're trying to instill across the board, is a huge diversity and a wide selection.
All right. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Do you have any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you, teachers. Appreciate the work you're doing.
Thank you.
Hi there. I'll keep my report brief as well. I am going to piggyback off what Becky said and talk about state assessments a little bit. In the special education world, we also have state assessments. All of our students take state assessments as well. However, we have a small portion of students that take something that we call the alternate assessment. And again, we have another acronym for that. We call it the DLM, which means absolutely nothing except for that's the company Dynamic Learning Maps that creates the assessment. So if you ever hear the DLM test with special education, that's the alternate assessment for special education. We have about 24 students who take that test throughout the district. The students with cognitive delays that are taught one-on-one, that are working with, that are having substantial supports and working one-on-one with teachers. The teachers, interestingly enough, there's 13 teachers that give the 24 students the DLM because since they're spread grades 3 through 12. And it's extensive training for those teachers, which I hear they are, Sarah can talk about it, they're actually changing the training again this year, which is exciting, but they watch modules and then have to give those assessments. But they give actually the assessments 3 times a year. Once at the beginning, once in the middle, which is called winter, and then they'll give them again in the spring, so those students don't sit down for one actual time to take those assessments, but they have the opportunity 3 times per year to partake in those assessments. So everything else in my report is pretty well straightforward. Do you have any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Trying to think of the next filler material that you share. Haven't read material.
No jokes.
Dead space.
No jokes.
All right. Well, basically, a lot of what I have to show you has to do with snow and ice. Kind of like this vehicle that thought that was a good parking spot in the front yard of Mathis Early Learning Center. We got lucky; it stopped right there. So jumped a couple curbs to make it there. Over at Rochester, they're making pretty good progress. Too soon. Yeah, they do go.
That was day one.
I don't know if anybody's been by there recently, but obviously I'm usually a month in arrears, so it's getting really close to being dirt. Yeah, it's getting close. Keep it together, April. Yeah. It's changed the environment around there. It looks totally different. Of course, over here at the SEC, just showing you some more snow. That's kind of been what we've been dealing with all last month. So that's a new Blodgett oven, and Kay Kavis would like me to tell you guys thank you. She says here, and I'll quote, replace the Vulcan deck style unit that has been there since 1970. The old oven would only hold 6 sheet pans with no convection ability and gave uneven, disappointing results. Anyway, now 14 sheet pans can be cooked, and she's very happy. So I'm extending that thank you. Softball JV field, we've replaced the fence. The old fence was 4 foot and the new one is 6 foot. Coach wanted it for safety reasons. Gauge has been changed as well, so it's a thicker gauge fence that'll be there for a long time. That is the current was the current soccer field on, I don't know, 2 weeks ago, I think. Everything's still dormant. It's going to take a little while. Guys are pushing snow in the background. We've changed out some trophy case lighting. They were all starting to look a little dismal, so we've got some new LED lights underneath there. Hopefully they'll burn for a good 20 years. And it gives you good consistency on it. I'm going to try and give you some athletic field updates as we go. Currently everything's still dormant. Not much you can do about that. It's beyond that. Any questions for me? Questions? Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Good evening. All right, so this month we had the first reading of the 4-5 plan. First, a little review of the timeline and what it's taken to get us to this point. We've been working on this now for about 4 months. So Mr. Bowler sends out an email about the middle of November to the building principals and to the directors, just reminding them that he will be coming to see them in December to gather their input for the coming year's plan. He and I sit down for the first time in January and look over that information, just he and I, and then about a week or two later, he and I and Rick Sear, Lance Bradley, Dan Fun sit down and look at that information again. And then 2 or 3 weeks after that, I want to publicly thank Keith Griffin and Dr. Noble for sitting down with Jason and I and going through the information an additional time and trying to fine tune it and ask and answer a lot of questions. So, and we'll have the first reading of it, excuse me, this month, and then you will vote next month. And a reminder, this is a 5-year plan, but a reminder that you only vote for the expenditures in the first year of that plan. The other 4 years, the remaining 4 years, are in there purely to give you an idea of some upcoming projects that are on the radar. So now to the plan itself. We'll go to the front page of that, just a couple of things I wanted to highlight about it, and I'll take any questions that you have. First, in the revenue section, that's that very top box. For every $1 million in increased assessed valuation, since we charge 8 mils for cap outlay, we get an additional $8,000. Last year, the change from last year to this year in assessed valuation was about $9.6 million, so that got us about an extra $80,000. Fortunately, interest rates are rising, so our number in the interest line there has gone up considerably. It was floating around $30,000 for several years, and we should crack 100,000 this year and into next year as well. State aid for capital outlay from last year to this year went up about $100,000. So those numbers that you see in there that total $3.2 million, 3,208, 358, those numbers primarily are last year's numbers, although I would conservatively estimate an increase of $50,000, $75,000 possibly, but that's all not known until the subsequent year begins. So never want to count on that money because it's entirely possible our assessed valuation could go down, although my own assessed valuation went up to 2.5%. So I would guess that to not be the case. So revenues for next year in cap outlay will be about $3.2 million. I'm estimating our beginning cash to be about $2.8 million. Below that then, so that's money coming in or funds available. From there on down then are expenses that we are anticipating for next year. In that section that says committed expenses, the one thing I would point out there is the technology lease line. That number has been increased. Mr. Mathis has worked with the Technology Advisory Committee, and we're going to renew. We got 3 separate leases here that are in play, and one of them was still a year out, but Mr. Mathis made the decision to go ahead and renew that 1 year earlier, again, running that all through the proper channels with the Technology Advisory Committee. And so the increase, so there is an increase as we look out each year, and that has been reflected then in the plan. So the 753 is assuming that we give the go-ahead to renew that one of the 3 leases later on tonight, actually. In the next section, under other proposed expenses, a few things I would point out there. Line 13, where it says district exterior repair replace. That number has been increased significantly. It was $50,000 this year. We'd like to bump that to $200,000 next year. We just have some concerns about the exteriors of all of our facilities. And we feel like we want to throw some additional money at that. I'd like to put more in there, frankly, but that was about as much as I felt like we could safely do. On line 15, there's a change there from previous years. In previous years, there was what we called a desk allowance. Because of Project Lead the Way and blended learning, those initiatives, we're using less desks less and less, and so I'm trying to give the buildings more flexibility rather than say you can buy 25 desks per building. I'm just giving them a building number. You can spend this amount of money per building. If they want to buy tables, they can buy tables, whatever the best fit is for the teaching style. So and that's not a big change, but that number did go up to 60,000. Line 16, you'll remember, is the sum of all of the building and department requests, and those don't start until page 2 of this document. But if you add up every building and department request that we are asking for approval on for 2019, 2020, those total just a little over $1 million, $1,016,000. Line 18, a little bit of change in verbiage there. That line in previous years has just said we're going to replace school buses. To her credit, Mrs. Blocker is still replacing school buses, but she is also being, I believe, more creative in just replacing the fleet and getting vehicles that give her more flexibility to do the job she needs to do. She doesn't necessarily need 65 passenger buses, and not that we can't do away with those, we need them, but if you'll remember this year she asked for 2 65 passengers, a 14 passenger, and then tonight we're actually asking you to approve a 10 passenger van, and she's still staying under the budget line we gave her for this year. Like I said, it just gives her the flexibility to get the type of vehicle in there she needs to get the job done. Line 19 is technology operating systems and miscellaneous. That number has seen a significant increase this year for 2 reasons. The first reason is I would like to start paying some of our annual software expenses out of capital outlay, $40,000 to $50,000. The other $90,000 of that has been earmarked, should you choose to do it, to replace our antiquated accounting software system. And if you remember, several months ago, don't quote me on when it was, we had that spreadsheet that said, hey, here are all the different things we can make changes on. The business one was the one we kind of waited on, frankly, because of the price tag. It's a big number. So for next year, you see that line 19 is sitting at $280,000. In subsequent years, that number drops down to $200,000. So that extra $80,000 is for that first year implementation of that software, because it is a rather large number.
Question on that one?
Yes, sir.
Just a reminder for my own benefit. Maybe Dr. Noble, you can chime in, but how do we do that? How do we spend capital outlay dollars on software?
It's just it's an approved expense. It's statutorily legal. I don't. Is that right? It's legal to do it.
Okay, I mean, I guess that's.
Yeah.
I thought it was for like infrastructure stuff.
Typically, it is.
We've talked about this before, just remind me again.
The issue has been, over time, operating costs of schools have increased to the point of unsustainability with the amount of operating revenue that was coming in. So the state has gotten more lenient with statutes to allow school districts to use some capital outlay dollars in what's traditionally an operational cost.
Band, uniforms, and others. So this all started down about 5-6 years ago, like Rock said, when the revenue stream started drying up, they started giving us more flexibility.
Bob,
Yes,
on
sir.
that one, if we approve this because it's budgeted and it's next year, are we approving the software change?
No, you're approved. You are giving us the ability to do that, but we are not saying necessarily we are doing it.
You're not calling it out.
No.
Okay.
Authorizing the
The only two things in here that you either have approved or will approve would be the counseling center at Seaman High School and the change to the Applebee's. And that was why I brought, remember last month, I put the counseling center on your radar because it said this is coming. And if we're going to do that this summer, it had to start a month ago. And we'll have bids for that by the end of this month.
And the same thing would occur, Representative Patton, on the operating budgeting software. We would bring that bid to the board and you can accept or reject it.
This is just giving us the ability.
Okay.
Just trying to be, have enough foresight to not say, I want to do this, and you say, how do you pay for it? And say, I have no idea. So, just want to have an idea. Back to the old man glasses. Line 21 is a new line. So Project Lead the Way is going to require a pretty significant equipment investment. So I worked very close with Megan, and I want to thank her for all her work on this. And so there's $180,000 proposed for next year, and then you can see how that, and those are pretty firm numbers actually in that line, the following 4 years.
Is that because of the expansion or because of just the current materials that you have to replace?
Both.
Okay.
Anything else on Project Lead the Way? Again, that is a new line. Let me back up. So let me back up to 20. 20 is a combined line from years past. We used to have a LED indoor and outdoor lighting, separate lines, and we just decided to combine that into one line and put those monies together. Although I would say I feel like we've made really good progress in the lighting upgrades, especially outdoors. I personally feel a lot safer being at a lot of our facilities at night now because they're better lit than they used to be. So I want to thank Jason for that. He's really done a good job of getting that taken care of. Nothing else there in 22, 23, 24. So down in that next kind of very multicolored section, I would point out the line that says, the kind of in the middle there, that bright blue, ending cash subtotal. That's one place. So when I look at that line right there, I'm trying to keep that line year over year somewhere around $2 million. And then that allows me to sleep at night just in case something really horrible happens around here and we wake up having some really large expenses that we're not planning on. You'll see that those two yellowish orange lines in, there's one for money that's set aside for field turf replacement and one for elementary playground improvements. And so those numbers you see, the field turf replacement right now we're putting $75,000 a year towards on an annual basis, and then the elementary playgrounds are $7,500. So that very bottom blue line there, the net ending cash would be how much money is truly available to me. The ending cash subtotal is truly how much money we have, if that makes sense. The biggest project in the buildings and departments for next year would be at North Fairview. That's another bid you're going to see this evening. That came in, the base part of that came in a little over $1 million. There are also some alternates that we're still looking at, one that we're going to propose tonight, some others that we may or may not come back with, frankly. But that's, so I've budgeted $600,000 for this year. to do phase one of North Fairview HVAC, and then $500,000 next year to do the second phase. Any questions thus far?
Just big picture, you're comfortable spending, I mean, we stay at the $2 million range, but comfortable spending 900 million more than we're getting, than we have? I mean, does that make sense?
Yes.
You're good with that?
Yeah, and
you can sleep.
I can sleep, yeah. But again, Mr. Patton, I'm looking at how those lines are behaving in years 2, 3, 4, and 5. And when I look especially at in 2023, 2024, and I see that number up in the 2.4 million range. Now I'm looking at the ending cash subtotal line. When I see that number at 2.4 million, I'm very comfortable. But I will tell you that I believe that you'll see some of those HVAC numbers in particular, not so much Fairview because it's been bid, but the next HVAC job will be Elmont, and frankly, I think we'll see that number go up some. But that's, to me, that's the beauty of you approving 1 year's expenditures at a time,
right,
is that I'm going to be very conservative on both sides, on how I estimate revenue, on how I estimate expenses, low on one side, high on the other, so that I do have that ability to sleep at night and not have to get a new resume because I really like my job. And if I can just make it a couple more years, then I won't have to be a greeter at Walmart. So all that would be a pretty good one.
They did away with those positions, by the way.
Well, I saw that. Yeah, I did that. Sorry, I digress. And then I'm not. You've had a chance to see all of the school and department requests, so I'm not going to go through that thing line by line. You're not voting on it tonight. You have not already. You have the month to do that, and then certainly between now and when is the April meeting, on the 8th, I believe. If you have questions between now and April 8th, please feel free to either email me or run to Dr. Noble or how you prefer to do that. But, questions?
So how do we move forward from here with our public comments on this? How does that work?
Well, what happens is that Mr. Monahan will be meeting with some soccer parents, and they'll be looking at what plans may look like.
I thought that was the plan.
Yeah. Any questions for us?
There's still, I'm assuming there's still opportunity for the public. Have they seen this? Or is this just only thrown up? We don't vote on it.
No.
I know we don't, but.
This is the first reading, so this will be the first.
This is the first time the public has seen it, correct?
See it, yes.
Okay. Our building principals have seen it, our directors have seen it. Obviously, Dr. Noble, myself, Mr. Kohler have seen it. But this is the first time it's been available for public consumption.
And by the way, I couldn't open it up in the email account. Just FYI.
So we're voting next month on it, right?
Next month.
Can we talk about the Indian Creek then tonight, so at least we can say we did once? What are we doing there? I don't really have a good idea what we're doing. We're not talking about it. I don't know why we're not talking about it. Seems odd. I mean, it's not on the screen, but $250,000 and there's a big chunk of money going to that building. I just don't know what we're doing. I don't really have
It's a couple years down the road.
It doesn't look like it. It looks like it's, yeah, a couple years down the road, correct.
That's,
So it's not a good
that's more of a,
down the road.
again,
Keep it on your radar.
If the board decides you want to do
Which
that
is fine.
somewhere down the road.
But we have to approve that next month to say we're doing that. We can change that later,
We're not approving that.
No, I know that. We're doing 1 year at a time. I get
Right,
that.
right.
Is that just a FYI, heads up?
Yep.
Maybe, should, would.
That's something that may or may, frankly, it's something that may or may not happen.
Okay.
But it just, if the decision is made to do that,
You
it's such a large
Yeah, I
number
agree.
that I want it in there. If we're talking about doing a $10,000 sewer job, then there's no reason to do that.
Okay.
Frankly, at one time, it was over in that first column for next year. But
No, I know.
Yeah, but my bottom number, I've got about as low as I can get it.
Okay.
My end balance number you put 300,000 or 250 more in there, you just close it out without shuffling something else around. So that's really the point of tonight is here are the things in the 1920 column that we have prioritized as being things we'd like to do next year. If you guys look through this and see something that is not as big a priority as we think it is, that's the discussion. That's the.
And then, just to be sure I got where they're at, the core 5 stuff from the letter from Mr. Monahan to soccer parents, it calls out specifically the other priorities we've got. Where's the freshman center stuff? Is that in there as well?
If you go to page 3, page 2,
The Light and
page
Council
2,
Center, that is in there, right?
yes, that's in for next year, for this coming year. Scroll down, please. Who's got it, Jeff?
Where's that?
Keep scrolling down,
High
please.
school, high school. Right where it starts. So this is on page 2, but there's your high school.
Okay, and then the other stuff at the stadium and.
Yeah, that's down below there.
Down below, okay. Okay, got it. Tying it all together, got it.
All right.
That's all the question I have.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I have one. Yes. Since we've had a little bit of a turf discussion here, go back up to, on the field where you have reserve of field turf replacement. What's it cost us to have one of those football fields replaced?
We did the.
Because I'm assuming we have 2 of those at baseball field that we have to look at anyway.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah. I'd like to research it, please, but my remembrance of when the most recent one was the high school field, 2 years ago. And I believe it was in the $600,000 range. But please give me a chance to research that. Make sure. No, just the turf.
We did the track. Okay.
And if I'm not mistaken, Brad, Minimal and Jason, Minimal, or no, Jason, were you here when we did that? Minimal work was needed to the subgrade, right? The base was good. It was mainly just the rug that had seen the end of its useful life. The baseball field, again, ballpark figure $400,000 for the infield. When it went in, but that was base work and everything, so I prefer you not hold me to this now. I would guess somewhere $350 to replace it.
Just curious.
It's not going to get any cheaper.
Right.
And I'll be retired by then, so.
And I also noticed out here that we have a maintenance vehicle for artificial turf. Is that right? Turf sweeper?
Yeah.
Okay. Do we have one of those now?
We have some sweepers that came with it, as part of, when they bought the stuff.
I'm assuming those are manual.
They pull behind, the gators.
Okay.
Any other questions for Bob? All right, very good. Okay, I guess we're moving on to facility use policy update.
Right, again, just a reading here and some suggestions that have come. One of them, because of what Dr. Noble talked about earlier with all the snow days. So item 13 in that document that was given to you is a new item there. If the school district or an individual school cancels school activities for any part of the day, then building use by outside groups will be canceled for that day as well. And then that came from just things that happened this year when we had some snow days. And then item 14 has to do with baseball and softball activities on the turf fields, and it would prohibit use of bats or balls on those fields, and that's primarily as a safety precaution for those people who are walking around the track. We've had some issues in the past with the walkers and the baseball, softball practices getting intertwined.
essentially then on item 14 is for the safety of the walkers.
Correct.
Are there folks that are using those fields now for any type of practice, coach hitting, things like that?
Our teams or outside teams?
Outside teams.
I suppose it's possible. It's a different, when you are as open with our facilities as we are, sometimes it's a little difficult to track, frankly, what's going on with them and what isn't, because we're not there 24 hours a day. So this was also, item 14 was done to create, well, first of all, there was nothing I could find in policy that addressed this, although Mr. Beats and Mr. Cooper were addressing it with people who were asking to use the fields. The language at the high school, if I'm not mistaken, is there are signs there that are very explicit about not allowing that. I don't believe there is the same, the verbiage on the two signs is not the same. So it's, you know, when Dr. Noble asked us to look at this back in the fall, his directive to me was, I want the policy to match our practice. And so this would that's what this is an attempt to do, is to bring practice and policy in line together.
Any other comments?
Well, I guess I'll speak to the fact of number 14, and I don't support the way that it's written right now. I don't think that it's cohesive with our district open gym policy. I can speak on behalf of a team that has used the middle school for practice. Last year, I called to discuss it this year. Mr. Cooper was very forthcoming, and I refused to use it until this was worked out. I can speak for my team, and we don't follow. We did not let our students or ask student athletes hit balls. It was strictly coach driven. Yes, there were a couple walkers on the team. I know that I can't speak to every team that possibly uses the field, to their noticing the walkers are on the track. I would like to see different verbiage in that. I do agree. I do not have an issue with the high school field. I personally never used the high school field. Would have never dreamed to use the high school field. I know it's been middle school was built during the previous administration. It was built for the intent to use. I can definitely see where it could go south, but I would think that there should be a document made. The people that want to use the field have to use it, and that's, I guess, my 2 cents worth.
Can you tell us what it looked like in terms of you using the field? Your teams?
Well, we would have our infield set up on the bases that are marked out, and we've got position players, and the coach stands at home base and hits the ball to a shortstop, and you've got another student athlete trying to run the first, or you've got an athlete standing on first base, and you're working on leads or something like that. We also use the distance of the field to hit outfield practice. It's a slippery slope. I would definitely agree with that. That's not only for my own use, but there's other teams that I know have used it in the past. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. The signage on the middle school sign is clear. It does not say you can't. It says no live pitching and no batting practice. And that I agree with. And common sense has to play in the role sometimes.
So it might be new, I think that's a good distinction that Mr. Griffin brings up. At your middle school, the signage says no batting practice and no live pitching. At the high school, the signage says no baseball and no softball. So it's 2 different signages. And so there is a little bit of difference, which was Mr. Horton's attempt to try to standardize what we're doing, but maybe there is something that this board would want to do different at each facility for that reason that Mr. Griffin just brings up. And maybe we just have to make that known and do something like that.
I can't speak for Alan, certainly not gonna speak for Brad. I don't know what kind of scheduling nightmare it will create. Maybe it's too much. I definitely don't want to create additional workload on an already overwhelmed facility.
I guess the question I would have is whether it would be practical to allow usage on the middle school field as it has been used, as Keith had mentioned it, with coach hitting and the ball staying within the turf and not impacting those that may be walking around there.
Well, I don't want to mislead either. You know, a third baseman can throw a pretty errant throw to first base too. With about as much velocity as coming off the end of the bat. They're never going to remove the word accident from the dictionary either.
That's true.
I can't speak to other people.
Any other thoughts, comments?
Well, I'm looking at the map for the middle school. We lined it for a batter's box.
I know.
It's, I was kind of okay with it for a second ago. Now I'm on the there.
Or kickball for.
Yes, exactly.
I was in on the design of that. My remembrance of that was it was done for PE class.
Is that, okay.
That's my remembrance. I mean, a nice byproduct is it's there for
The
little league
community.
teams and, yeah.
So, how about we continue to have the conversation, I'll continue to visit with Keith about it, he has a lot of knowledge about it, we'll continue to talk with our committee and our AGs about it. See if we can't come up with something that can work, and bring it back, next month. And if so, we will be reflected here in this policy, the changes that we need for your consideration, if we're able to come up with that.
Is it possible to find out what other, you know,
Other districts.
other opinions on this board?
Sure.
These policies will be used to just as one reference.
Yes. That is also very possible.
I mean, I think about going to walk, but that's as far as I get, so. Sorry.
Okay. So there's no problem for you?
No.
You're good now.
You should not.
Well, that sounds like a plan.
Thanks, Lord.
Yeah. No, that sounds like a plan.
Okay.
Let's move forward.
Thank you.
Okay, bids, Mr. Horton.
The first one in front of you is, I referenced this earlier, so in this year's Core 5, in 18-19, Ms. Blocker was budgeted $287,005 to purchase. In that plan, it said 3 buses. To me, it should just go towards vehicles. So like I said, she's already ordered 2 65s at 166, 460, a 14-passenger 53, 477. And would like to order a 10-passenger van. It's on the excuse me, state bid from Shawnee Mission Ford for $26,411. She would still be $32,000 below her budgeted number for the year. So I recommend your approval, but we'll see any questions.
So moved.
Okay, moved by Carl, there's a second.
I'll second.
Second by Sherry. Any discussion, any questions? Yes, sir.
It's really irrelevant to the amount of vote that I was asked. Are we putting cameras in vans too?
Not that I am aware of, so it's not come up to my attention. So the answer, my short answer would be no.
Any other questions?
Not yet, maybe it's
Not yet.
No, not currently.
Any other comments, questions? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. The ban is approved.
All right, the next bid is for North Fairview HVAC, and like I mentioned earlier in the Core 5 presentation, just because of timing, and if this bid is approved, then we just hadn't started earlier, and it's still reflected in 4.5. Because I could not come up with $1 million, I was thinking $1.2 million to do the whole project at once. What we were proposing is doing the 3A areas, that's at the north end of North Fairview. And then that'd be this summer, and then the following summer, Area B, which would be between those, it'd be the furthest south original part of North Fairview, I guess is the best way to describe it. We asked for 3 alternate bids. At this time, we're only bringing one of those to you. That is the spare filters for those room units. So what we're asking for tonight is approval of the base bid from Cine for all 4 areas, A1, A2, A3, and B, as well as the spare VRF filters. And so the base bid totals $969,749, and the filters total $555.
Make a motion to approve the base bid with the alternate or replacement filter, air filter.
Okay, motion by Keith. Second by Fred. Questions, discussion on it?
Can I ask Jason a question?
Certainly.
How many filters do we get for $505? You don't have to go up, do you?
Yeah.
It's supposed to replace all VRF
So one cycle?
per, they're a plastic with a nylon mesh type material in them.
One filter per VRF?
Yeah, and it's basically pull them out. It's easier for Dan, since he's the one and only, to pull them out, replace it, and then take the dirty ones and go wash them, and then he's got a cycle to expedite his process.
Thank you.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carried.
The final bid, as I referenced also earlier, is for the Apple staff computer lease. It was scheduled to end in 2020. Mr. Mathis provided you information on a plan to speed that up a year and the benefits of doing so. Like I mentioned earlier, it's an increase of $43,911 from the lease it's replacing, which brings our total of the 3 revolving leases to $752,435 a year, which is reflected in the 4.5 we discussed a few minutes ago. So I would recommend your approval. If you have any questions, I'm going to let Mr. Mathis answer them.
Make a motion to approve the lease as presented.
Okay, moved by James, second by Sherry. Any questions?
Could ask this for us?
Of course. Jessica. Red dog.
Red.
What's that, Jeff?
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, any other questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carried. They're approved. Thank you. Project Leeway expansion.
Okay, last month, Becky and I came before you and presented our proposal for expanding Project Lead the Way in our K-6 elementary schools. Do you guys have any questions for us this evening?
Move approval.
Okay, moved by Fred, second by James. Any other questions, comments? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries, approved. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on down the line, director contracts. Board before you is the list of the directors. And we'll entertain a motion for approval of those contracts.
So moved.
Moved by Sherry.
Second.
Second by James. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Contracts are approved.
Two employees that are retiring, Diane Payne at the end of this school year, and Neil Shell at the end of the calendar year. Both requested the district paid health insurance, and I recommend your approval.
So moved.
Moved by Carl, second by Keith. Did you second that? That's very good, quick. Okay. Any questions, comments? Dennis? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries, those are approved, thank you. And ladies and gentlemen, that's the last item on our agenda. We are adjourned. Thank you.